Hello everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you for coming back, for keep coming back. I don't know what I would do without you guys. I don't have friends, so you are my only friends. Well, you and some coffee, but basically you are my only friend. You, the guy who's looking at me right now, you're my only friend right now. I don't want. I don't like when the sound of the mouth is on the microphone. How is that called? ASMR or something like that. Okay, so today we're going to do something kind of creative. I can say that it is creative. I disabled the autocomplete because it was too helpful, and I think we need to detox from AI once every week at least. And also it was doing things I don't want, so let's try to do it without the autocomplete. So today we're going to create a to-do list, the classic to-do list. I don't think I'm gonna do a edit. The edit is going to be complete or not complete. But what I'm going to add to this to-do list is Ctrl C. So when you do Ctrl C, it will read. It is an undo. We're gonna do a to-do task with undo, with the undo function. Hope you didn't see that coming. And we're gonna make use of useRef. That's why we are in the folder of useRef. Okay, so let's start. First of all, we need to start our component, and in order to do that we need to import set state. I'm gonna need the state for the tasks of the to-do list. Then I'm gonna use the useRef, and from now that's it. Then I'm gonna do the const app equals to the function, then export default app. So now if I do a return here, I'm expecting to have some kind of, yeah, there it is, our setup is done. So let's do a quick to-do list. So this is not set state. What do you see? Use state. As I said, once in a while we're going to start using TypeScript, so you can see the benefits, or sometimes the the way TypeScript bothers you or helps you, however you want to see it. But we are going to create a type, and the type is going to be named task. You can create either a type or an interface for this. I always go for types because I like them more. I feel like the interface, I don't know, it's kind of more formal. I like the merge the types have. One of them can extend, the other can't. So in order for this to get types from other, you can do a merge, but that's another video. So the task is going to have an ID and it's going to be a number. Okay. Also, I'm not sure. Yeah, is with this a number, a task. So the label, should we name it label or task? I think task is fine. String and complete. And this one is gonna be a boolean. I don't know why I have like this idea of the type using, let's see, types use type using a type definition on TypeScript. Yeah. I wanna know what about types. Type. Okay, now I have you here. Looking at documentation. Okay, interface, title string, and semicolon. And the type is semicolon. It's the same. It's the same. It's a semicolon. But it doesn't complain if I do a comma. So let's make sure and just do this. So quickly, let's create a const task use task for the input, because it's going to be a control component. Const tasks set tasks is going to be a use state. A use state, and it's gonna start by an array. Then const ref. This is gonna be called history. Okay, because we're going to save the history of the tasks here. So history is going to be a useRef, and actually this one is going to be an array. So let's give types to our hooks. This use state is a string. There's no way around it. It's a string, plain string. These are generics, by the way. It's a kind of complex. It is a kind of complex concept, but not that complex. In this case, I always explain it as the type. I always explain it as the type of the element here when we declare hooks. That's not exactly true, but in this case, that's what it is. So, tasks is going to be a task with an array type. Task is going to be an array of the type task. And history is going to be more interesting because it's going to be holding a task and an array of tasks. Why? Because we're going to be saving the current task. Let's call it current history. Now history, that's fine. So now let's do a quick input type. Value is task. On change, we want it to change. Set task. Set task to the the e, we need an e dot target dot value, set task, use task. Why am I doing this? Set task, and this is gonna be set tasks. Okay, see, you need to detox from AI once in a while, every once in a while. So this is just saying that I need to finish my input. So if we can write, this is the value changing, so we're good. Super good. And look at that. I think that's actually Mac. Is that Mac? Let's do this. Oh my god, I didn't know that. I didn't know about this. What if I twerk? Okay. I didn't know this. That's pretty interesting. Okay, so now we need a button. A button that is going to be add. Okay, and then next to it, I'm gonna add the button undo, but this eventually is gonna be called by the Ctrl Z, by your keyboard. Okay, so let's create the functions for each of those. Const add task equals to an arrow function. Then when we add a task, we first need to take the tasks that we have right now and go to history, current, and equals to tasks, because remember, this doesn't care about the render, so it's gonna allow us to play with that. That's why it is important to use a useRef for the history. Otherwise, it will re-render and it's gonna be a cluster. I'm not allowed to say it on YouTube, but a cluster F. So we need to push the tasks. Okay, we're gonna push the new tasks, the whole array of tasks, and then set the task. So in order to set the tasks, we need the prep task, which is the type task. See, now it is helping us TypeScript, and we need to return a new array with the prep task. And then a new task. The new task is going to have an ID. We need a random number, so I'm going to use here date.now for now. Then we need a task, and the task value is going to be task. So if you know something about ECMAScript 6, you can just remove this, and yeah, that's it. You can just remove, and it's going to be the same as doing task. That's a trick for ECMAScript 6. It's been a while. It's been around for a while, but some people don't know it. And it's gonna start as false. So now let's see what's wrong. Okay, so we have the argument type task. is not assignable to a parameter set state task. Okay, so it is saying that the tasks are not very we're basically not complying with it. I think we need to add here complete, and that's it. Yeah, this is a new object. It's a new object that complies with the type task. So let's test this, and it is adding it. How do I know that? Because if we do a tasks with us, it is doing it. It is just shy. You need to give it a moment. So tasks, we can do a JSON strongify just to see it. I can open the console as well, but I wanted to see it here. So it's an array. It's an empty array. So the add is not adding. Interesting. The add is not adding, dude. Why? Because of the most stupid thing in the world. On click, call add task. See? Detox from AI help. So add, and there's the first task, second task, third task, and so on. So we have the tasks. Now let's show them in a kind of presentable way. I like doing the, I'm gonna try to do it more, I'm gonna try to be more clean on my maps, because my maps usually are very dirty. So map, and then we are going to take the task, which is of the type task, and then we are going to show, I'm not gonna use unexplicit return. I'm gonna use return like this. So we at this point we just can return the task, but that will be lazy because it's going to return the object. So let's add an order component, an ordered list. Sorry, this is an unordered list, UL. Okay, UL is an order, like you don't have order in your life, like me. And the what is the error? What is the error? Yeah, that it is that it needs to return something. So let's do an li. Li is an element of the list, and we can play with it. We can do a task, and now we see the tasks. You see? I'm thinking of doing something, since I'm here, like putting it in an input type text. You know what I'm trying to do, right? Input type text, and then the value is going to be the type, not the type, the task. And then we're gonna close this input, and there our little what our little list. So let's do a edit task. I'm gonna do this. Edit task. It is actually very different. It is actually super different, but I wanted to copy the name because I don't want to forget this. So we're gonna take the tasks and we're gonna map through them. Tasks. We're gonna map through them, and then we take the task as task oh my god, and then we return if okay, so this just got a little more complex, but nah. So let's see. Let's ask for the task ID here, and on change what we're going to do is to call this edit task and it asks for the ID. We have the ID, and it needs to be closed, and it needs the E, but we're not gonna be using the E, so it's gonna be an anonymous function. No, I'm wrong. Well, we can use the new text, so we need the E. In order to get the E value text. No, sorry, E target value. Okay, and this is asking for a number, and this is gonna be asking for a string. New value is going to be string, so this is a string. So of course we have an error because we are doing a map. So edit task if the task ID is equals to the task ID. Wait, some messages. Okay. Okay. It was my mama. Task ID. When the task ID here, the task ID we're sending, is equals to the task ID, we're going to return a modified object, a modified task. So it's going to be a spread task, if I remember correctly, and then what we want to modify, in this case is task, and new value. And then we can do we can use this later for the complete. We can use it, and if not, we just return the task. As simple as that. Let's see if it works. Okay. Okay. But are they being edited in memory? Let's see. Yeah, well, this is listing the value of tasks, but I would like to have more JSON stringify tasks. So yeah, it is modifying the value. So you don't need an edit. You don't need an edit button or something like that. We can probably add if okay. I think we're trying. We're trying to do more than we want. Not can. More than we want, because we can do anything, guys. We can do anything. Remember this? Oh, you're not doing it anymore. No, I need the other one with. How do I pull the other one? Yeah, that one. We can do anything, guys. Okay. Such a clown. So this is being saved completely. So now we're gonna add. I said this wasn't going to be that complete, but let's add a button for removal. A button. Let's say it's gonna be delete task or something like that. Delete. Okay, so we can add, we can edit, and we can delete. So subscribe, please subscribe to this channel. So where is it? Where am I? Okay, so the delete button is going to be very similar to this, but instead of there are two ways to do this: the correct way and the dirty way. We can use, now let's do the normal way. Const delete task, and it's gonna be equals to task ID, okay, which is a number, and we're going to do this. Remember, we need every change, we need to update the history, otherwise the Ctrl Z is not gonna matter. So delete task is gonna use a filter instead of a map, and it's gonna set tasks, and then instead of a map we were gonna use a filter, and when the task ID is equals to the task ID, we don't want it, so let's do this. We don't want when the task ID is equals to this. So this is a filter. We are checking the task ID. I don't want that, so modify it. right? So the delete button needs to be declared as on click. On click, we're going to do a delete. This is an anonymous function, by the way, an anonymous arrow function. Delete task. And where are we going to pass? The task ID. Task ID. So let's see if this works. It works. So now we can add, we can delete, we can edit, we can edit, delete. The complete, we didn't add the complete. So I propose this. The complete is going to be in order to complete a task. How can we manage that? I don't want another button for that. What if we do like a click? No. I don't know. What do you guys think? Should we do an edit complete? Let's do a complete. Complete, and it's going to be first, then delete, edit. So this is going to delete because it has the same function, but we wanted to edit. Edit task ID, edit task, and it sends, it needs 2 parameters, okay? But look at this. If I do this, if I do wait, I can do this, I think. New value is not, I'm experimenting here, guys. False. No, wait. So this is, cannot have a question mark, but yeah, but I'm declaring the type. Is it like that? I don't know, but we're gonna use this one, and it needs a string. But if we're gonna add a parameter called is complete change, and this is a boolean. Okay, so here we need to do a our beautiful conditional. You see how is the conditional rendering? I don't think it accepts nesting. I don't think. Let's try it, but I don't think it does. So if is complete change, I don't think this is possible. Oh, it is. Is complete change. do this, otherwise just task. Okay, we are nesting this inside of this. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna do it with the normal syntax, just so you don't get lost, because it looks kind of complex in that way. So let's do okay, yeah. So you're asking me for a return now. If the task is equals to the task ID, and we have the task ID here, then we're going to return a manipulated task. We need to spread task, and then if is equals to, we're gonna set the new value, remember? New task, new value. Return new value. Why is this failing? Complete type boolean. Okay. 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 And then this is if the task ID is equals to the task we're going to modify. So else, why is this is failing? Because not assigning to undefined. Oh, because yeah, there's a way to that this returns undefined. That's true. Okay, so we need to cover all the possible scenarios. So else if task ID equals to task ID, and is completed change, we're gonna change the task, but complete is gonna be the contrary of task complete. Task complete. Okay, this is a not operator, so if this is true, it's gonna turn it into false, and if it's false, it's gonna turn it into true. So yeah. Okay, so apparently there's a way for it. We need a default return. We basically need a default return, but that's when we finish everything. So remember the nested component, this is the nested what's the word? The nested in the same line. The nested, I forgot about the dot. What's the name? Nested JavaScript. What? Nested what? Okay, nested inside backticks. They are called inside backticks. They are called, yeah, these are the nested nested conditions. That's it. Nested conditions. I was thinking of a big, a super duper name, but no, it is nested conditions. Look, this is a nested condition. If this, we need this, and then if not this. We did that. We did that in the previous way. We nested in the else. We nested the complete. I don't know if you remember, but this is basically going to change the task. So it is saying that it has an error because it can still return an undefined. So let's do a return task. Okay. And this is part of the edit function. Why does it have an error? I don't know. Probably. What is this? Okay, so this is more readable, right? If the ID, if the task ID from the parameters is equals to the task ID from the map, from the task, we're going to edit the task. Else if the task ID is equals and it is a complete change, we're going to return this, and we're gonna toggle the complete. Okay. I don't know why this is throwing me an error, and I think it's because this should return an array always. What is this? What the hell is this? I don't care about this. Let's see. It says unexpected token. Okay. So unexpected token, that could be set map and then map tasks. So this should be an array. Let's see if we wrap everything. Like we wrap everything. No, that's the point of the map. Okay. So unexpected token, delete task. Oh, it is on delete task. Delete task, filter. No. No, we are doing something wrong here. We are doing some open and close in a wrong way. Open. Oh, okay. Okay. Yes. Yeah, because this is asking for a explicit return. So I think I need to do a return of all this. No. I think I have too many, maybe too many or too less. Yeah. I needed, okay, so I needed the parentheses for map no, not for map, for the entire wrapper. Then I needed the parentheses for map, and then I needed the parentheses for set tasks. You see, that's what's happening. And I was saying that complete with a button is kind of boring, but let's do boring. Okay, complete. This is the time to shine. This can be by default false, so we don't get this error right here. Edit task false. Edit task. What's there? Expected 2 or 3, and it just got yeah. Oh yeah, because the edit task, we're doing it, we don't need an edit task. I don't know when I added it, but this is going to be a complete task. Okay, let's do a little more space here, and let's be super simple. Edit task, this is going to be true because it is asking for the ID, then the new value, which right now is we are not going to use, because we're going to use the if task ID equals and then is complete change. So we're gonna pass a false here. Okay, sorry, a true, because we are changing the complete task. So in order to save time, I'm gonna do the following. Background, no, style takes an object. Okay, an object like that. Background, so this is basically CSS. This is basically CSS, but it's CSS with camel case basically, and it is not a string. So this is background, for instance, background, but you can also do background color, which is what I'm going to use right now, and the value is a string. That one is a string. So the background color is going to variate depending on if the task dot complete, the task is complete, and if not, something. So the background, if it's complete, what do you expect me to put here? A green, right? Because it's complete. And then this is going to be red. So none of them are complete. But if I do this, it deletes everything and doesn't complete the task. So something's wrong with the button, with the complete button. Okay, so the task needs to keep the task, and the task complete is going to be the contrary. So something's wrong with my logic here, because I'm just going to send task complete. No. Task complete. This should be working. Task complete. This is the task. So complete. It's going to be okay. Let's see. Console. Let's go to. Well, we have the console here. So this is not changing the complete. See how it's not changing the complete? That's because task ID. Okay, so it is falling here, but I also need this to be false. The is complete change equals, well, it is a boolean, so I can do false. So now it should change false for true, false for true. Oh no. Task ID equals to task ID and is complete change. We need here is complete false and here a true. Yeah, we're getting into the woods here. So it is. So right now it is going like this. The task ID is equals to the task ID, yeah, and is complete change true by default is not true. So it is, so we assume it is a change to the complete, because this is asking for complete this to be false. Okay, I'm not gonna use the default value, and let's see what breaks. Nothing breaks. Okay, so what if we check first for the, we can check first for the, if task ID is equals to task ID and is complete, then do that, then else, and then we're going to join this if. Okay, we don't need this. And then this is going to be an else. Let's see if that works. No, doesn't work. Okay, so it is not working. I have a few theories. But I think it is not working because we are not, we needed to click on the button that actually does this function, because we were doing a click here. Remember, a click here, a click on the input, a click on the input does the onChange, okay? And also is failing because it needs the third argument, which is false in this case. So when you click here and modify, you're basically editing the task. You don't need an edit button, but you need the complete task. Okay, so you have a non-complete task, and now it is complete, right? Complete, complete, and then we change it, and we add, and then complete. Okay, so delete, delete, delete. So this is a very, we could style it and give it a lot of style, cool style, but this is not for styling. This is for understanding useRef and the Ctrl Z, which is what I promised from the beginning. So now we are going to do an undo function. Okay, so the undo function cons undo. I don't like it to be capital letter, the first letter. Undo. Undo, what undo is basically gonna do is set tasks. Okay, set tasks to history. We don't need the previous task, that's why I'm not using here prep task and such. History.current pop. Let's see what happens with that. This is task not assignable to task. Let's see. What if I do click here, unclick here, and undo? What undo does? Okay, it is undoing. Actually, it is undoing. It is undoing. It is undoing even at the level of changing a letter like H, and then I do a undo and it undoes. We can then play later with whole words, but for now it is undoing this. It is undoing the edits. Complete task. Let's delete, undo. Okay, let's add one and then complete it and then undo, and it undoes it. So we basically have everything. We have everything. We have everything we need now for the undo and the Ctrl Z. Let's see if this thing detects like, oh yeah, the undo works. Oh, we're so cool. We have no friends, but we're so cool because we can do an undo. Okay, what calls my attention is this argument of type task undefined. Okay, so this is always expecting something not undefined. So we can do something like this, just to be sure. Do this, and then also, and then if the condition is not met, we return tasks. Undefined tasks. Task is not undefined. Oh, okay. No. The history dot current. So that's how we make sure that this is not, history is not undefined. Then do that. No, because this is going to do it twice. Pop is a function that takes the last element of an array and removes it. Pop. And it modifies the array. So that's why we're using a useRef, because it can do it. So the error that we're seeing is a type error. So we can just tell it that as it's going to be a task array. Okay, and then we got rid of the error. I hope. Complete task, undo, complete task, undo, complete task, undo. But here's the final trick. We need a listener. And how do we add listeners? We cannot add listeners here because every re-render is going to be added, and we don't want that. Okay, that's gonna cause memory leaks and such. The memory leaks are one of the things that make your component be very slow. So when they ask you how to optimize a component, you should answer, are they too many use effects? Too more than necessary? Are there a way to memoize, like use memo and callback? Are there any memory leaks? Like a memory leak could be a set interval without a name. That is a memory leak. Everything without a definition. Every variable without a definition, without the const let, that is a memory leak. So enough about memory leaks. Now we're gonna need a use effect from here. Use effect, and then use effect, callback, and then we are gonna run it just once, the first render, and we're gonna add a listener to the window, and I'm gonna call it const Ctrl Z equals to add event listener. It is of the type key down, and then it takes a callback. The callback is it takes an event, and you know how to handle events by now, right? We need to set this like this and play with the event. Remember, I'm on a Mac, but we want this to work on Mac or Windows. So we're gonna do if, I think it is control key. That's the control key of Windows, and the other one is actually, we can find it here. It has a very weird name. For Mac, it has a very weird name, I remember. Let me see. Is it meta key? It's probably meta key. Yeah, it's probably meta key. If not, I'm gonna Google this. But okay, if these two are pressed and E key equals to C, guess what are we going to do? Undo. And we finished our task list. Let's see, Ctrl C. Oh yeah, Ctrl C, Ctrl C, Ctrl C, complete, Ctrl C, Ctrl C, Ctrl C, Ctrl C, complete, Ctrl T, Ctrl T, and this looks ugly as hell. So yeah, you can just use some library like Tailwind or Bootstrap. Well, Bootstrap is not very used right now. I mean, it is used, but it is not very required in the market. So we created we created the application, the to-do list. Let's just for giggles, what can we do to make this more beautiful? We can import the app module, import app. In this case, I'm going to import index because I'm gonna add it needs a dot, and because it is in the same folder. So every button is going to have background. It's going to have a background. Let's give a background of a linear gradient from, give me colors. People, think about great colors. Are there colors by default on Beat or on this setup? Like if I do, okay, let's see if this gives me, okay, yeah, we can do this. This, and then I wanted to go to the same, but a little darker. Like that. Yeah. It's button. It looks like it looks like an application from 2000. And then radio, we can do radio border radius and 3%, no, 10%. And then the color of the text, we want it to be color white. And this is not going to pass a very rigorous a very rigorous design review, but you get the point, right? It completed the task. Look, it even adds some gradient here, or it's just me? So add, then we complete the tasks, then we do Ctrl C, complete the task. Now we can get rid of the button undo because we have Ctrl C now. See? Where's the undo? Here. We don't need you anymore, dude. We have Ctrl C. So Ctrl C, Ctrl C. Apparently the Ctrl C goes way too far. We can add a stop, like if let's see, control history current. We can here add some. By this time, this application is ready. But let's just do some perfections. Well, these colors I wouldn't call perfection, but it does the work. It remembers those supermarket softwares that are horrible, or the warehouse software were horrible. So what else? I was going to see current, how long is it, and this has to be outside the loop, and it is not appearing. Current length, it is not appearing because it needs to be here, so it is 1. Okay, so we can just simply do if this is equals or bigger than 1, do that. Otherwise, no, don't do anything. Also, actually, this has to be outside. If so, it doesn't. So it is not going to delete things that should not delete. Okay. So this can be as it was. And current is length, because it's an array. So we can get rid of this right now and Ctrl C. Okay, that could be Ctrl C, 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 and that's it. I'm pressing Ctrl C right now, and it stops when there's nothing in the history. But if we add more, it continues and complete. To be honest, it's very ugly, this thing, but it does what we want, right? Ctrl C. We can do our last chance to have a good design. We can do border radius of 10%. It looks too bad. 20. No, I think we need to do like 10px. Yeah, it looks no, it doesn't look good, but gets things done. So that was it. Was kind of long, but I hope you enjoyed it. And yeah, thanks for watching, and subscribe, and send it to your friends, you can use it on interviews, like, oh, look at that guy is keeping a record of every change and is doing a Ctrl C, and thumbs up because of this that I discovered that is hard to trigger. Oh, come on. It is not triggering. How is it trigger? Oh my god. Okay, so I'm serious. I'm a serious guy, and then okay, so one should give me the yeah, and two should give me the yeah. Hey! So thanks for watching, and subscribe, comment. I don't see any comments. I want to see comments. You can comment everything you want. Like you're teaching anything, dude. Like quit now. Quit now. You suck. You can do that. I give you permission to do that. You can say your accent makes me sick and just comment it. But comment it. Otherwise, how would I know if my accent makes you sick if you don't comment it? Commented it. You have to comment it. And then I realized, oh my god, I'm making this guy sick with my accent, and that's no good. And I cannot sleep. See, you can give me insomnia. Okay, so that's it for today, guys. Thank you. Subscribe and bye. Look, the thumbs up.